What is Pythagoras property? The property which is applied only in a right triangle. In a right triangle, if any side is missing, we can find that missing side using Pythagoras property. So this property is mainly used to find the missing side in a right triangle. So here, the sides of the right triangle has some names. The longest side, which is opposite to 90 degree, is called hypotenuse. And the other two sides in a right triangle are called the legs. So in a right triangle, if any side is missing, either the hypotenuse or any leg is missing, we can find it out with the help of Pythagoras property. So what's that Pythagoras property? The Pythagoras property states that the length of the hypotenuse, the length of the square of hypotenuse, that is here the hypotenuse is x and that is missing. The length of the square of the hypotenuse is equal to the sum of the square of its legs. The legs are here, this and 3 centimeter and 4 centimeter. So take the squares of the legs and sum that. Pythagoras property states that the square of hypotenuse is equal to the sum of the square of its legs. And here to find the length of the hypotenuse which is missing, add the squares of the legs. 3 square, 3 multiplied by 3, 9, 4 square, it's 60. And on adding, it is 25. And to find the length of this hypotenuse x, take the square root of this 25, which is 5 5 is 25. So x is 5. Pythagoras property is mainly used to find the length of the missing side. If the hypotenuse is missing, take the other two legs and square it and add it. If the hypotenuse is 5 centimeter and one of the leg is 4 centimeter, what is the length of the other leg? So to find the length of the other leg, use the Pythagoras property, which is that the square of hypotenuse is equal to the square of the sum of its legs. One leg is 4, other leg is missing. So to find the length of the other leg, just move this square of one leg to the left side and subtract with the hypotenuse square. So 25 minus 16, it's 9 and it is a square of 3. So hence the missing leg, here x value is 3. What are the applications of Pythagoras property? Where it is used? Suppose if you want to find the length of the staircase that is required to reach a window, then you can find the length of this staircase by Pythagoras property. Or if you want to find the length of the longest item that can be kept in the room, then you can find it out by Pythagoras property. Or if a tree is broken due to a heavy wind or rain, then to find the length of the broken tree, you can use Pythagoras property. Let's see an example. A ladder of length 10 meter is placed against a wall 8 meter long. So a ladder which is 10 meter long, it is placed against a 8 meter long wall. And we have to find the distance of the foot of the ladder. This is the foot of the ladder from the foot of the wall. This is the foot of the wall. So find the distance from the foot of the ladder to the foot of the wall. So here, this is a right triangle. So in this right triangle, If any one side is missing, we can find it out by Pythagoras property. So what's Pythagoras property? The square of the hypotenuse is the side which is opposite to 90 degree, and that side is 10 meter long, which is the length of the ladder here. So the square of the hypotenuse is equal to the sum of the square of its legs. So the other two sides or the leg. One leg is 8 meter, other leg is missing. So to find the length of the other leg, first let's write the Pythagoras statement, which is the square of the hypotenuse equal to the sum of the square of its legs. The legs are, one is 8, other one is missing. We have to find it. So what is 10 square? 10 square is 100 and 8 square is 64. Now to find this side x, move the 64 to the left side. So you have to subtract with the square of hypotenuse. Hypotenuse square subtracted with the leg square to find the other leg. So now 100 minus 64 is 36. And the square root of 36 is 6. 6 square is 36. And this square root of 36, we have found it as 6. So x is 6. The length of the missing leg is 6 meter. Another example, a man goes 10 meter east and then 24 meter north. Find the distance between the initial and final positions. So a man goes 10 meter east, first 10 meter east, and then 24 meter north. Find the distance between the initial and final position. So initial is this and the final he reached here. So we have to find the distance between the initial and the final, this length. So is it a right triangle? Yes. To find the length of the missing side in a right triangle, use the Pythagoras property. And here the missing side is the hypotenuse, the longest side. So hypotenuse is missing. To find the length of the hypotenuse, use the sum of the square of its legs. So first let's write the Pythagoras property statement, which states that the square of the hypotenuse, it is missing, so let's take it as x. The square of the hypotenuse is equal to the sum of the square of its legs. The legs are 10 and 24. So 10 square plus 24 square. Square of hypotenuse equal to the square of the sum of the square of its legs. And 10 square is 100. 24 square is 576. On adding 100 and 576, we got 676. And 676 is the square root of 26. 26 square is 676. So x is 26. Here, the distance between the initial and the final position is 26 meter. To summarize, what is Pythagoras property? Pythagoras property is that the square of the hypotenuse, which is equal to the sum of the square of its legs. And here, the longest side is the hypotenuse, and the side which is opposite to 90 degree is called hypotenuse. Other two sides are called legs. And this Pythagoras property is applied only to a right triangle. And if the hypotenuse is missing, take the other two sides, square of other two sides and add it. If the length of any leg is missing, then Take the square of hypotenuse and subtract with the square of the other leg. That's it. See you in the other video.